Across the country, dealer lots are overflowing with unsold bikes, over 3 million motorcycles sitting idle as refund demands explode. Harley, Honda, Kawasaki, everyone's pointing fingers while lenders quietly panic. Prices once north of 12 grand are crashing below 5,000 bucks. Some riders are getting deals of a lifetime, others are watching their investments vanish overnight. So what really caused this collapse, and which models are getting buried in the dump wave? In this video, we're counting down the 11 bikes that define the biggest motorcycle markdown in modern history. Number 11. Victory Kingpin. Built like a handshake from the past, the Kingpin endures. The Kingpin stands as one of those forgotten heavyweights that never quite got its due. When the factory doors closed on its parent company, a wave of good machines went down with it. Yet this one still rumbles with purpose. It carries the kind of muscle and stance that old-school riders respect. Low, wide, and steady as a freight train. On a quiet highway, that broad tank and flared fenders still look like American pride cast in steel. What sets the Kingpin apart is the feel through the bars. The throttle response is clean, the balance precise for a bike of its size. It was built for men who ride, not pose. Guys who know what it means to wrench on their own exhaust bolts. The transmission clicks with a firm handshake. The exhaust tone rolls deep enough to shake loose a few memories of louder days and long nights. Riders who swing a leg over one today often say the same thing. It feels honest. In a world full of touchscreens and traction modes, the Kingpin just rides. The real charm is the craftsmanship that came before the corporate accountants took over. The paint depth, the metal, the quiet confidence. Every piece feels solid in a way newer bikes often don't. Those long, sweeping floorboards and that classic cruiser geometry make hours on the highway feel effortless. When the miles stretch out, this machine answers with calm instead of fatigue. It might not carry the newest badge, but it still carries weight where it matters. Torque, reliability, and a road-tested soul. Power reaches 90 horsepower from its 1,638 cubic centimeters, delivering 100 pound-feet. While the Kingpin still turns heads for its craftsmanship, the storm that follows brings a legend reborn in American steel. Number 10. Buell Lightning XB12SA Wild Spark of American Engineering, the Lightning never whispered. The Lightning was one of those. It looked like a street fighter, but underneath it was a pure American experiment, built for riders who wanted V-twin torque without the touring weight. Even today, it feels different from anything else on the road. The frame doubles as a fuel tank. The swing arm holds the oil. Every inch of its design came from one man's obsession with keeping mass low and control high. For riders who once lived on carburetors and chain grease, the Lightning still feels mechanical and alive in a world of digital filters. It was never meant to blend in. Its stance sits forward, its pipes breathe heavy, and the sound rolling out of the short canister exhaust is rough in all the right ways. Push it through a canyon road and you realize it turns faster than any V-twin has the right to. That raw steering feel, half sport bike, half muscle, hits harder than most remember. The Lightning is a reminder that America could build precision without losing soul. Some bikes brag about horsepower. This one makes every pony count with torque that slams out of corners like a piston hammer. What makes it fit this list today isn't nostalgia. It's the stubbornness of real engineering. It doesn't care about rider modes or infotainment screens. It asks you to ride it with your hands, not a menu button. The chassis talks back, the brakes bite sharp, and the throttle rewards confidence over convenience. Every time you fire it up, it reminds you that performance never had to mean perfection. The Lightning proved that grit and geometry could coexist. Driven by adrenaline, 75 horsepower emerges from 1,200 cubic centimeters with 65 pound-feet. The Lightning showed how raw innovation could redefine a ride, yet the machine that follows proves that heritage can still outlast speed. If you've ridden or owned any of these machines, drop a comment below and share your story. Hit that like button if you still believe real motorcycles should be built with steel, pride, and purpose, not corporate promises. Number 9. Harley-Davidson Sportster 883 Iron. Every thump from the iron reminds riders what loyalty sounds like. For many, that moment began with the iron. It carried the weight of tradition without the burden of excess, a lean machine that looked mean parked under any streetlight. The tank, the stance, the sound, it all whispered the same promise: freedom without pretense. It was never built for luxury. It was built to remind riders that a motorcycle should feel alive, not polite. With its narrow bars and mid-mounted controls, it keeps your body tight to the frame, your boots ready for the next mile of asphalt. The iron sits low, solid, and unbothered by trends. It doesn't need digital screens or electronic ride modes to make a point. The motor shakes with a familiar pulse that seasoned riders can feel through their gloves, a heartbeat that connects every generation since the first Sportsters rolled out decades ago. It's simple by design, and that simplicity is its strength. For many who've spent their lives behind the bars of big touring machines, throwing a leg over the iron feels like going back in time to when every ride demanded attention and every shift felt earned. Even parked, the bike carries presence. The matte finish, the short pipes, and the blacked-out hardware all speak the same language of defiance. It's the kind of motorcycle that doesn't apologize for being raw. It fits the hands of riders who believe torque is a measure of character, not just performance. While the world keeps pushing toward complexity, the iron stays true to something older and tougher, the unfiltered essence of the ride itself. The engine pushes 50 horsepower through 883 cubic centimeters, backed by 55 pound-feet torque. The iron still carries the heartbeat of real Harley grit, though the next machine takes that loyalty and gives it new balance and calm. Before we go deeper into the collapse, make sure you're equipped for the ride ahead. Check the description for the gear and accessories I trust on and off the road. Number 8. Yamaha V Star. 1100 classic lines meet calm torque. The V Star cruises with dignity. The V Star was one of those machines. It carried the grace of a cruiser without the arrogance, built for riders who valued substance over show. The design language was familiar: low seat, wide bars, and a frame that looked like it had been drawn straight from an old American blueprint. For men who had logged decades on heavy twins, the V Star offered comfort without compromise, a steady throttle that turned every ride into a smooth march instead of a fight. The beauty of this bike lies in its patience. The power delivery is calm, never hurried, yet always present. It hums along at highway speed without drama, steady as a freight train on open rails. Long trips feel easier on its broad saddle and relaxed geometry. Many riders who once swore by carbureted Harleys or Shadows found the same mechanical honesty in the V Star. It starts when asked, cruises without complaint, and holds its ground mile after mile. The finish is solid, the paint deep, and the metal feels built to last longer than the trends around it. The real secret is how natural it feels after hours on the road. The engine's rhythm has the kind of pulse that doesn't buzz your hands numb, and the gearing makes two-lane country roads feel endless. It's a bike that expects nothing but regular maintenance and rewards you with consistency. A trait riders over 50 value more than horsepower numbers. It stands as proof that Japan could build a cruiser with real soul, something that could sit beside the old touring legends without flinching. Strength flows through its 62 horsepower, 1,063 cubic centimeters heart, and 65 pound-feet twist. The V Star may cruise with quiet strength, yet what's coming next brings a bike that wears rebellion like a badge of honor. Number 7. Harley-Davidson Dyna. Super Glide, born from rebellion and rhythm, the Super Glide still breathes freedom. It was the bike that carried the working man's dream, a stripped, honest machine built for those who wanted the feel of a big twin without the cost or flash of a showroom king. The frame sat wide and proud, the stance low, but commanding, and the sound at idle could silence an entire block. In the right hands, the Super Glide was more than transport. It was identity forged in steel and gas. What defined this machine wasn't polish, but purpose. It handled like a bare-knuckle fighter, with enough weight to steady the ride and enough torque to make throttle roll on feel like pulling a freight train from a stoplight. Riders trusted it because it never pretended to be something it wasn't. The finish aged well, the chrome held its dignity, and the engine always gave that heavy heartbeat that made long rides feel like conversations between man and machine. Many still say this was the last Harley that truly felt connected to the road, before electronics, before touchscreens, before everything started talking back. On open stretches, it rides with the rhythm of an old blues song. The seat sinks in just enough to hold you steady through the wind, and the controls sit exactly where a seasoned rider's hands expect them to be. It's the kind of bike that doesn't ask for upgrades or validation, it only asks for distance. In a time when nostalgia is sold as a feature, the Super Glide stands as the real thing, unfiltered, dependable, and proud of its scars. Muscle builds steady at 72 horsepower from 1,588 cubic centimeters with 90 pound-feet torque. The Super Glide roared with the sound of pure Americana, but what comes after proves that comfort can ride side by side with muscle. Number 6. Kawasaki Vulcan 900 Classic. Steady, refined, and unshaken, the Vulcan keeps tradition alive daily. The Vulcan has always been that kind of companion. It speaks to riders who appreciate steady performance more than sharp edges, men who measure value in miles, not marketing. The styling borrows from the golden age of American cruisers with wide fenders, sweeping lines, and a stance that feels comfortable before the engine even turns over. It is a bike built for riders who have already seen the miles, not for those still chasing fashion. On the road, the Vulcan carries itself with calm confidence. The throttle is smooth, the gearbox unhurried, and the ride quality feels plush enough to erase small-town pavement scars. It cruises best in the mid-range, right where most real-world riding happens. This is a motorcycle that doesn't beg to be pushed. It invites you to settle in, find a rhythm, and let the wind do the talking. Its classic geometry makes it easy to control for seasoned riders, and the seat height allows both feet to rest flat at a stop, something older riders value more than horsepower bragging rights. The Vulcan's design philosophy is simple: make the experience easy, not empty. There is no excess chrome for show, no unnecessary electronics to manage, and no pretense about being something it isn't. It's a practical cruiser with the heart of a craftsman's machine, the kind of bike you park beside a diner at sunrise, sip your coffee, and still admire 20 minutes later for how quietly it earns respect. In a lineup full of machines chasing identity, the Vulcan stands as a steady hand, reliable, grounded, and built for the kind of rider who prefers roads without rush. Performance steadies at 50 horsepower from 893 cubic centimeters displacement and 58 pound-feet torque. The Vulcan carries calm power with grace, though the story that follows revives a shadow of reliability that riders never stopped trusting. Number 5. Harley-Davidson Sportster. 1200 custom chrome and torque unite perfectly, the custom carries Harley's true pulse. For many, that machine was the Sportster Custom. It struck the perfect balance between muscle and manners, strong enough to make a statement, refined enough to ride every day. The lines were clean, the chrome deliberate, and the proportions honest. It was never about chasing trends, it was about keeping the essence of what a Harley should be: metal, torque, and attitude. When parked beside the new plastic-laden cruisers, the Custom still looks timeless, as if it could roll straight from a mid-90s catalog into today's daylight unchanged. The Custom has always been about control. Its mid-range pull delivers the kind of surge that reminds a rider why torque matters more than horsepower at real-world speeds. The ergonomics hit that sweet spot between relaxed and ready, and the vibrations, those that some call imperfections, are the very pulse that tells you the engine is alive. Every shift feels deliberate, every idle beat familiar. It's a motorcycle that refuses to whisper, carrying the road's rhythm through your boots, up your spine, and straight to memory. Riders who have owned big touring bikes often keep one of these as a reminder of what started it all. There's no showmanship here, no screens, no pretense. It's as close as modern Harley riders can get to that raw mechanical bond from decades past. The paint gleams just enough to catch the sunlight, but not so much that you'd hesitate to wrench on it yourself. It's equal parts performance and nostalgia, a bike that feels right both under your hands and in your heart. In a world racing toward silence, the Custom stands firm, breathing with that unmistakable growl of steel and fire. Energy surges with 67 horsepower from 1,200 cubic centimeters, producing 72 pound-feet torque. The 1200 Custom reminds us how Harley balanced beauty and bite, while the motorcycle ahead carries that same pride across generations. If this countdown feels like the truth no one else is telling, make sure you're subscribed. We dig through the noise to bring riders the facts. Real machines, real stories, and the legacy that built the American road. Number 4. Honda Shadow Aero 750. Reliability meets heritage here. The Shadow glides through decades, unbothered. It was never built to compete for attention, it was built to last. For riders who have spent their lives around Harleys and Goldwings, the Shadow offers a reminder that reliability can have soul. Its long, low profile and wide bars invite an easy posture, the kind that lets you disappear into the horizon without a second thought. Chrome stretches across its tank and pipes like a tribute to the days when motorcycles were crafted, not programmed. Every line of the Shadow speaks to riders who still believe that comfort and durability are the real markers of engineering. The ride is smooth, forgiving, and steady. The engine hums with a sound just deep enough to satisfy without tiring the ears on long hauls. For veterans of the road, it's the kind of bike that earns respect one trip at a time. It doesn't try to outshine or outpower, it simply outlasts. Many owners report running theirs for decades with nothing more than basic maintenance, a testament to Honda's quiet mastery of consistency. The Shadow's appeal lies in how familiar it feels from the first moment you sit down. It welcomes rather than challenges, and that matters to riders who've already proven their skill. Its low seat and centered balance make city rides effortless, while the highway manners echo those of a much heavier cruiser. It's the motorcycle equivalent of a dependable old friend, steady, easygoing, and always ready for another 1,000 miles. In a market chasing constant reinvention, the Shadow remains an anchor to simpler, more honest riding. Output stands near 45 horsepower from 745 cubic centimeters, balanced with 47 pound-feet torque. Braking system is a single front disc and a single rear disc with an optional anti-lock braking system. Suspension setup is a conventional front fork paired with dual rear shocks. Wet weight is 590 pounds, seat height is 28½ inches, and starting price is $5,000. The Shadow glides with the poise of a lifetime companion, yet the next ride reignites Harley's modern spark in the simplest form possible. Number 3. Harley-Davidson Street 750. Lean, focused, and unpretentious, the Street reignites Harley's stripped spirit. But what surprised everyone was how well it spoke to older riders, too. It carried the Harley badge with humility, stripped down and practical, and it rode like a return to simpler times. For men who had spent decades on big touring rigs, the Street felt like a chance to rediscover that first-year spark. The raw, uncluttered joy of a lighter bike that still sounded like Milwaukee steel. The Street has a personality that sneaks up on you. Its liquid-cooled engine runs smoother than the old air-cooled mills, which means long summer rides no longer bake your legs at red lights. The ergonomics are upright, the bars close, and the controls feel instinctive. It's compact but not cramped, and the throttle response is clean enough to remind riders what Harley torquey feels like without the bulk of a touring frame. For older hands who remember when riding meant grease, grit, and real connection, the Street brings that feeling back in a manageable size. It was also a quiet experiment, Harley proving it could build something for real-world riders again, not just collectors. The bike holds its ground in traffic, glides easily through city streets, and feels solid when stretched on the open highway. Its appeal lies not in flash, but in purpose. It's honest, mechanical, and forgiving, built for those who want the spirit of the brand without the weight of its expectations. It may not wear nostalgia on its sleeve, but it earns respect with every mile ridden. Responsive power peaks around 53 horsepower from 749 cubic centimeters, generating 44 pound-feet torque. Braking system is a single front disc and a rear drum on most models, with later versions offering an anti-lock braking system. Suspension setup is a conventional front fork paired with dual rear shocks. Wet weight is 560 pounds, seat height is 25 9/10 inches, and starting price is $5,000. The street holds the pulse of a new generation, but the next contender combines old-school honesty with the kind of trust earned mile after mile. Number 2. Suzuki Boulevard C50. Built for timeless riders, the Boulevard blends style, stamina, and substance. The Boulevard fits that description perfectly. It's the kind of bike that doesn't chase flash or fame, but still manages to win respect from seasoned riders. Its broad fenders, generous seat, and long chrome pipes make it look like something from the golden age of American cruisers. Yet underneath that style is Japanese engineering that keeps running year after year with very little complaint. It's not a collector's piece. It's a rider's motorcycle, built for people who care more about miles than hype. The Boulevard carries itself with a sense of calm authority. The low-end torque pulls strong from a stop, and the smooth throttle makes highway speed feel effortless. The seat and bar setup favor long arms and long rides, with a comfort level that's hard to find at this price. Veterans of the road often call it the honest cruiser because it demands nothing but regular oil changes and a little pride in ownership. It's one of those machines that doesn't mind sitting through a winter, only to fire up and go when the weather turns warm again. That reliability has built quiet loyalty over the years, especially among older riders who appreciate dependability over drama. In motion, it feels composed, not hurried. The suspension softens the rough stuff without floating, and the weight distribution makes slow-speed maneuvers easy even for heavier riders. Its styling might echo Harley heritage, but the Boulevard wins its following on its own. Terms: smooth, steady, and built to last. It reminds every rider that confidence doesn't always come from cost or complexity. Sometimes it comes from trust earned over time. Reliable force brings 45 horsepower from 805 cubic centimeters and a stout 50 pound-feet. Braking system is a single front disc and a single rear disc with an available anti-lock braking system. Suspension setup is a conventional front fork paired with dual rear shocks. Wet weight is 514 pounds, seat height is 28 3/10 inches, and starting price is $5,000. The Boulevard stands as a symbol of steady strength, while the machine that follows brings back the raw heartbeat that made Harley immortal. Number 1. Harley-Davidson Sportster. 1200 Roadster pure muscle in motion, the Roadster revives Harley's oldest heartbeat. It's not draped in chrome, it doesn't hide behind fairings, and it doesn't apologize for being a handful when pushed. This is a motorcycle that rewards riders who still believe that the road should be felt, not muted. The Roadster stands at the crossroads of Harley's past and future, a reminder that performance and simplicity once defined the brand before technology took center stage. The design is pure muscle. Low stance, wide bars, and a tank that looks like it's waiting for the next long stretch of asphalt. Every ride on the Roadster feels like a trip back to the days when bikes didn't come with ride modes or screens, only metal and heartbeat. The front suspension is firmer than most in its class, giving the bike a confident feel through corners. Older riders who once tuned carburetors by hand will appreciate how mechanical it feels. Every vibration, every shift, every mile carrying the rhythm of the road. For many, it's the last Harley that truly connects rider to machine without a filter. On long rides, the seating position leans slightly forward, keeping the weight balanced for control and response. It may not be the softest cruiser Harley ever built, but that's part of its character. It's for riders who still enjoy wrestling a machine with personality, not just comfort. The Roadster reminds anyone who swings a leg over that Harley once built bikes for those who live to ride, not just to display. It is old-school grit packaged in modern steel, a fitting number 1 for riders who refuse to let the soul of the sport fade away. Performance commands 66 horsepower through 1,200 cubic centimeters displacement and 73 pound-feet torque. Braking system is dual front discs and a single rear disc with an anti-lock braking system. Suspension setup is an inverted front fork paired with twin rear shocks. Wet weight is 564 pounds, seat height is 29.5 inches, and starting price is $5,000. The Roadster closes the list where it began, with power, pride, and the kind of truth every real rider feels in their bones. The truth is, this crash isn't just about price, it's about pride. 3 million motorcycles sitting silent tells you exactly how far the industry's drifted from real riders. But the road doesn't end here, it's ours to take back. Which of these bikes would you still trust for a cross-country run? Drop your thoughts below. Your experience matters more than any corporate press release. If you got something out of this one, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with a buddy who still rides for the love of it.